meeting of Greenville City Council. Please rise for invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you please pray with me? Dear Lord, once again, we gather here together this evening to give thanks to the many blessings that you've bestowed upon our city of Greenville. As always, we ask for you to guide our actions, help us to act with great deliberance, with great prudence. We ask that you grant us wisdom as we contemplate the opportunities and the issues before the city, and do all we can in our positions on city council and amongst the staff leadership to add to the blessings and help all of our citizens and have their various needs and wants addressed. Most especially, we want to lift up in prayer those individuals within our community who are affected currently by the wildfires in the area of Table Rock. And we most especially ask that you protect and guide the actions of those brave men and women who are on the front lines battling the fire and ensuring the public safety and the safety of our natural resources. Above all, we just thank you for the civility and the collegiality that we enjoy here within these chambers and also within our city as a whole. And it's in your name that we lift this prayer. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Gets everybody going. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember John DeWorkin.
Here.
Councilmember Lillian Fleming. Councilmember Ken Gibson.
Here.
Councilmember Will Brazington. Councilmember Russell Stahl.
Here.
Councilmember Dorothy Dow.
Here.
Mayor Knox White.
Here. You have the minutes of the March 10th meeting, which will stand approved as submitted unless there are any objections. Seeing none, they are approved. With a few folks who signed up to speak to us, remember the 3-minute warning on the wall there. And Joe, you're up first. Thank you.
Joe Farmer, 207 Alpine Way. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. Greenlink has a budget of $14.6 million versus revenues of $652,000, which leaves them with a $14 million a year deficit. I saw last week the city put out bids for new shelters. The problem is not enough people want the current system. How many of you rode the bus to this meeting tonight? The system is on life support. In 2 to 5 years, it'll be dead. But how can we help it until there's another method in place? I was in Prague, and they have a very robust trolley system. And I was standing waiting on a stop, and I noticed this group of students, it must have been 5th to 7th grade, and they stepped on the trolley, and they didn't punch a ticket. So evidently they were riding for free. And they sat down, and every couple of stops, a few kids got off. And I realized this is how they got back and forth to school. They were unsupervised. There were no adults with them, and no adults paid them any heed when they got onto the trolley. Now, my friends in the school board tell me they have trouble finding bus drivers. Why don't we adjust the routes to transport high school students and help the school district alleviate part of their problem and generate some revenue from Greenlink? This would help curb the deficit and free up city funds until we have a replacement in place. There's really no need for 2 separate entities other than they don't want to play well together. Or we can continue to do the same thing over and over and admit that this system is a failure and end our support of it now. I urge you to ask Greenlink administration, are they willing to adapt or do they want to cease to exist? Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Clarence Thornton.
Minister Clarence Thornton. I reside at 114 Doctor Street, Greenville, South Carolina. As I speak, another African American will be put out of their home in April because their rent has been raised. She is an American citizen, she is a person, and she has medical needs. She also has a special need grandchild that she takes care of while her daughter works. Gentrification is real. Gentrification moves lower income people out of their homes, some who have lived in their home for 16, 20 years, They move lower income people out of their homes to more move rich renters in. The rent is normally more than 30% of their income. The words of a child come back to me all the time when they got in a fight at Unity Park, which rings true. When the white child asked the black child, "Why are you there?" And the black child looked confused. The white child said, "Unity Park is made for white people." Because as we look at Unity Park, all it has successfully done is increase the rent in our neighborhood and move more minorities out of our neighborhoods for wealthier. The increase of our high dollar homes, the poor income, they can't afford it, high dollar condos. The city talk about affordable housing, but when will they build affordable housing? Since I've been doing God's will, I just want to say we need to fight more for the poor because that's what Jesus asked of us. And I would also like to tell you, you ask anyone, African American, how they feel about this city, they say they just want to push Black Americans out of the city just to move us back to the country. Gentrification is racial discrimination. The city is not truly honestly fighting affordable housing when you raise the average median income. We got homes in West Greenville now that are 500,000, 700,000, and $1 million homes. If you raise the average median income, how will we ever afford to have a home downtown? We no longer control our own destiny because of our city council persons who are selling our great city to the highest bidder. The Greenville Jesus told us to take care of the poor. We have failed our Lord and our Savior. The same way the rich ruler declined Jesus to give to the poor, even the same way Judas decided to sell Jesus out for money. Aren't we doing the same thing when we do to the poor in our neighborhoods? This is wrong in the eyes of God. The 10 Commandments say, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." But the 10th commandment says, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods." When they see African Americans have homes in West Greenville, they are coveting our goods, saying you no longer have the right to live here. This is wrong in the eyes of God. And I hope someday, one day, we actually take affordable housing more seriously. Thank you, and God bless you.
Yeah, before you now, the consent agenda, which will stand approved as submitted, consent agenda, we have to get a motion in a second.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington.
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow. Aye. Mayor Knox White.
Aye. The regular agenda, we had just want to note, we have one speaker signed up for item 15G. We'll take that up when we get the 15G on the agenda, so don't worry. Regular agenda 15A.
An ordinance to appropriate $228,877 in the miscellaneous grants fund for the disaster assistance program.
So moved.
Second.
I have a question. Yeah,
Question?
question. Patricia, this is for 80% AMI and below.
Correct.
How do people access this? Is this through community development or?
Through community development, and we partnered with Rebuild Upstate as a subrecipient.
Okay, so if someone is interested in accessing these funds, which are very limited and will go fast, is there a cap on how much they can access?
Yes, I believe it's 30,000 per household.
That'll eat it up very fast. Do they apply through the city or?
We have, so in order to originally apply for the grant, we went through and kind of pre-qualified people that were experiencing issues.
So this is not an all call for additional applications, is that?
That's correct.
That queue is full.
Right.
Okay. thank you.
Unless something happens, right? So this is a brand new program through SC Housing, so first year that we're, that it's been offered.
Okay. What does this bring the total amount to?
So for this particular grant, it's 228,000. There's no match required. The only requirement is that 50% of it be spent by October of 2025.
And it has to be for Helene damage.
Yes,
Okay. And we have a collection of applicants.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington. Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. 15B.
An ordinance to appropriate $56 in the miscellaneous grants fund to reflect an award in the amount of $26,528 from the Bureau of Justice Assistance Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program and $26,528 in matching funds from the Law Enforcement Special Revenue Fund to purchase body armor for the Greenville Police Department.
So moved. Second.
Motion second. Clerk, call the roll. There are no objection.
Councilmember DeWorke?
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson?
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington?
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl?
Aye.
Councilmember Dow?
Aye.
Mayor White?
Aye. 15C.
An ordinance to appropriate $1 million in the miscellaneous grants fund and wastewater fund for the sewer rehabilitation efforts in Rewa Meter Basin 6162.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any
Questions?
questions to Clint?
I do.
Okay.
Hello, Clint.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. So we already had 4.8 million allocated from previous years?
Yes.
Okay. Stop me if I'm saying it wrong. That's just what I read in there. Okay.
Yep.
Is there a specific location where this chunk of money, is the 1 million part of that 4.8 or in addition?
No, addition.
So 5.8, is there a location we have this designated for?
This is the Rewa Meter Basin 6162. So
I'm sorry, I don't know where that is.
it's a pretty large area. We got about 15 miles of sewer line.
Okay.
In this area. It's basically Greater Sullivan. It does extend over to some properties along Grove Road as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke?
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson?
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington?
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl?
Aye.
Councilmember Dow?
Aye.
Mayor White?
Aye. 15D.
An ordinance to annex approximately 0.1 acre of real property located at 7 Stall Street and to provide the zoning designation of RNA, Neighborhood A District.
So moved.
Motion second. You want to touch on this a little bit? It's not a very large piece, but it's still.
Yeah, it's not a very large piece, Mayor, but this one and the one right below it, next on the agenda, are right in the same vicinity on the north end of town, and just cleaning up part of this one is already inside of the city limits from the previous annexation ring, and so just bringing the rest of that parcel into the city.
Is the property that fronts on Buncombe already in the city or not in the city?
The kind of shaded out area right there is still in the county.
It's in, I thought. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, any questions? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke?
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson?
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington? Councilmember Stahl?
Aye.
Councilmember Dow?
Aye.
Mayor White?
Aye. Good. 15E.
An ordinance to annex approximately 0.25 acre of real property and 0.02 acre of adjacent right-of-way on Maria Street and to provide the zoning designation of RNA, Neighborhood A District.
So moved.
Motion second. Let's take a look at that, since you got the pictures here. I thought that was.
So I have a
Oh,
question.
it's a part of the same neighborhood. Okay, good. Okay, makes sense.
Michael, in this, I'm fully supportive, but it looks like we have donut holes getting created. Do we not? Are more coming?
We're actually trying to clean up the city limits in this area and bring more of these properties into the city limits. So we're working with these individual property owners. Each one of them has to consent. So we're kind of doing this a couple properties at a time. And by cleaning up these donut holes, it'll help improve service delivery, service provisions. So solid waste, police, fire, just more consistent emergency response
Yeah,
within
it's
this
cleaning it
neighborhood.
up.
So the property on Crest Lane, sorry, that shares a boundary with the ones on Marie and the other one next to it, should a crime happen there, sheriff's deputies respond versus the Marie Street properties we're annexing, it's GPD. Same with fire. What a headache.
But what's the status of those to the north on Crest? Maybe that's an Austin question.
Yeah, we may have done some initial outreach with them, and so they have to consent
Yeah,
ordinarily to come into the city, and so as some of these.
we're still working it basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, sir.
It'll make the area a lot safer. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke?
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson?
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington? Councilmember Stahl?
Aye.
Councilmember Dow?
Aye.
Mayor White?
Aye. 15F.
An ordinance to rezone approximately 1.31 acres of real property located at Augusta Street and Dixon Street from PD Plan Development District to MX2 Mixed Use 2 District.
So moved.
Motion second. You want to look at that real quick? That's over there on Augusta Road. Oh, that's the rezoning, yeah. All right.
Is this our first one rezoning from PD to new code in Haney Serene area?
I think since the master plan, yes. And the master plan, the MX2 zoning is consistent with the height and land use recommendations from that master plan.
Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington. Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. 15G,
An ordinance to rezone approximately 0.06 acre of real property located on Landwood Avenue from RNC Neighborhood C District to MX5 Mixed Use 5 District.
motion, have a second? Second, okay. We have Mr. Derrick wants to say a few words on this. And I know we have some questions from council too.
Wow.
My name is Gant Derrick. I live at 2509 North Davidson Street that's in Charlotte, North Carolina. So yes, I'm here as a representative of the applicant for Z-4-2025. I work with Bowman Consulting Group, which is the civil engineer on the project. We just wanted to make ourselves available should council have any questions this evening.
Okay. I bet there is one, just to clarify. Councilman Dow, you got it. Not that you told me ahead of time.
I did.
Questions, so I wasn't.
And you read my mind.
Being of course, it'll be council member now, but she asked ahead of time, so
Pass me.
we got it.
Mr. Derrick, were you at the planning commission hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were you the gentleman that spoke in favor of this? No? Okay. You did? Okay. First of all, thank you to Chick-fil-A for addressing the fact that they are a victim of their success and that it's challenging in that drive-through. We're big fans of Chick-fil-A in Greenville. So this property, we're talking about one or two houses. But they are part of a neighborhood. And so you're in this contentious area where commercial property abuts a neighborhood. And I'm not sure if you can commit now, but I would like you to do so if you're able. I'm concerned about, as y'all extend the drive-through on that little 0.06 acres, you're going to take a load off of the drive-through queuing, which is very much needed. However, at nighttime, and I know there's a terrain difference, but you are adding more headlights that are pointing towards houses. One of the representatives of Chick-fil-A mentioned extending the seagrass planted buffer that's along there. I'm not a horticulturalist. I'm not sure what seagrass is, but it's the short stuff. I really want y'all to look at it in terms of a planted buffer that really obscures the view from those houses, which the seagrass will not do. Do you think Chick-fil-A can commit to doing that? In other words, a planted buffer that our staff can agree to in the planning process?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We've had an open conversation with the president of the Adjacent Neighborhood Association.
Mr.
this past
Burton.
week. Yes, ma'am.
Did you meet with him on site?
I did not meet
Okay,
with him on
then
site.
you
It
need
was a representative from Chick-fil-A Incorporated that spoke with Mr. Burton specifically. But they discussed evergreen plantings specifically, which I can certainly agree would be, as far as I know from staff, those are allowable by the development code. And yes, that's something that Chick-fil-A is interested in pursuing in coordination with Mr. Burton.
Okay, so for the record, is it a fair statement that Chick-fil-A is committing to help protect that neighborhood from the lights coming at them with an evergreen planting?
I would say Chick-fil-A is committed to a buffer along that neighborhood association
Okay.
boundary, yes.
All right, the next question was about lighting, that y'all are open till 9:30 at night? And then does the whole property go dark, or do they keep some lights on for security, I guess? They talked about timing on the lighting so that they don't stay illuminated all night long.
I can't speak to specifics on when site lighting does or does not go off. I know in conversation with Mr. Burton that the Chick-fil-A Inc. representative discussed a light on the movie theater parcel further down in the neighborhood that flickers and stays on a little brighter. And so I know that they're looking into that. And I know that I imagine it came up during the planning commission that Mr. Swanson owns the adjacent parcel in addition to his operating partnership with Chick-fil-A on this parcel. So I'm positive it'll be addressed.
Okay. Positive it'll be addressed. Okay. With that said, I'm so supportive of it. I just really want you to know how important that neighborhood is to us as a council. And also to reiterate the point that was made during the planning commission that this by no means is precedent setting. This particular stretch was looked at long and hard during our new development code. And it was intended to be RN something, I can't remember. RNC, as a protection for that neighborhood, a buffer per se. And we are now retracting that for yes, only 0.06 acres. And I'd like that to be the end of it because the rest of it is indeed neighborhood and it's what they're protected. It's the only thing that protects them from commercial development in a very successful site. So yes, sorry. Thank you.
And just real quick, I would reiterate Councilmember Dow's comments and also make that request and that you stick to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ready for a vote? Okay, call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington.
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. 15H.
An ordinance to rezone approximately 0.35 acre of real property located at 430 North Main Street from CV Civic District to MXSD Downtown Shopfront District.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington.
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. 15I.
An ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the city of Greenville with modifications recommended during the 18th month zoning map review process.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
Okay, y'all want
All good.
redo? Okay, all right.
Sure. So the first group of properties on West Washington Street is currently zoned RNXB. And there's some pretty significant building width dimensions between B and C of that RNX district. The city currently owns them, looking for a sale or ownership affordable housing community there. So allowing the rezoning would allow for, I believe, 2 additional units to be accommodated on the site without having to break up those buildings under the RNX B zoning. So that's that particular zoning district. The next one, skip forward. You go to the next slide. Next one. All right, so this is the historic, this is on Alameda Street in Nicholtown. This is the historic Greenstoke Cemetery. So this is currently zoned residential, and we are proposing to apply the PK or Parks zoning district just to help protect that as open space, provide an additional level of protection. I mean, it's very unlikely that anything would ever redevelop on a cemetery parcel, but the PK zoning district is just that extra layer of protection under the zoning code. So you can go to the next slide.
Is that owned by the city? Is that cemetery owned by the city?
It is, yes. Mhm. Right. We maintain it, okay. So this is the East Ferris Road and Glen Road parcel that the city recently purchased for open space. So we're just updating the zoning to reflect that open space acquisition. And then likewise, the last one, property on Ridge Road is also being proposed to rezone from IX, which is an industrial district, to our PK zoning district, which is that parks and open space zoning classification. So just keeping GVL 2040 alive and adding this additional layer of protection for open space parcels, purchases that the city's made over the last year.
All good. We're all.
What's the
worked out
acreage
well.
of the Ridge Road?
I believe this backs up to Wenwood Soccer Complex. So
What acreage? How large is it?
12?
it is
12 acres?
11 and a half acres. So yeah, 12.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah. Okay. All righty. Do we have motion second on that?
Yes.
Okay, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington. Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. 16A resolutions.
A resolution to appoint ministerial recorders and assistant municipal court judges under Chapter 22 Municipal Court of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Greenville.
Okay, Your Honor.
Good evening.
Second.
I have with me both Brian Johnson and Jennifer Lane, and they're going to be two great new additions to the office in their new capacities. Brian's a long-term lawyer here in town. His dad is a retired basketball coach for Greenville High School, and his name's on the floor. He and my oldest daughter went to high school in Walford together, so he's come on and kept things squared away very well. And we're glad to have him in the office.
Yep.
He'll be doing part-time work. He's a family court and criminal defense specialist.
Just real quickly on this one, I know Mr. Johnson, he is an excellent lawyer and a very fine individual, and we'll be very lucky to have him as a judge.
Yeah. All right.
And he went to Clemson as well, and
I will not hold that against him.
he redeemed himself by going to the University of South Carolina for law school. So I wanted to point that out. And Jen is a longtime paralegal here. She worked for Darby and Manning, which is a premier group of intellectual property lawyers, and we're glad to have her. She's been working hard for the last 6 months in the office, and she's accrued enough experience and training that we're approving her to be a ministerial recorder. And she'll be working at the jail office and also downstairs in our new location as well.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Welcome you both. Thank you. Good to have you
Thank
with us
you.
tonight, too.
I'll see some of you on Friday in our tour.
That's right. And 16B.
A resolution to provide for amendments to an agreement to lease office space located at 15 South Main
So
Street.
move.
Second.
Do you have some pictures to show us maybe? I don't know if we've shown them publicly or
I think
not.
we had them in the first packet.
Yeah, but I didn't know if we'd shown them in council meeting. Did we show them in council meeting? I don't know.
We did.
I don't remember. Okay.
We did.
All right. Well, we're
This is
excited
just an
about this.
amendment on one change to the provisions in the lease if there's a termination of the early termination of the lease.
Yeah. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All righty. That's the quick agenda tonight. Madam City Manager, do you have
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
additional comments?
I just wanted to provide you an update on the work that all of our first responders are doing, particularly firefighters from across the upstate, including our Greenville City Fire Department crews concerning the fires in Table Rock. Our state firefighter mobilization has reported that since Saturday morning, total resources used have been 16 fire engines, 4 battalion chiefs, 12 brush trucks, 12 UTVs, and 92 firefighters from around the state, including our own crews from Greenville City. We are estimating that over 200 personnel have been assigned to operations, logistics, and support that are currently working the incident. The both fires saw significant growth on Sunday with winds helped drive the fire. And of course, the area is very steep and mountainous to which firefighters can't gain closer access. The area did receive limited rain overnight, and this did help with limiting the fire growth this morning. The sun came out today, and so the winds have increased. So we're continuing to monitor it and continuing to make sure that our GCF crews will continue to work 12-hour shifts, assisting with protection of homes in the area. We're expecting that our crews will be working those 12-hour shifts the rest of the week. And so just wanted to provide you an update. Chief Wharton and I stayed in communication throughout the weekend. And the favorite photo that I saw was a picture of just all of the various fire department personnel from across the upstate that were there together, working this fire together in various uniforms. And it just shows that, you know, the unitedness of our first responders and all of our community in time of need. So just wanted to make sure that you all in the community had that update and what we're doing to support the efforts.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, we are really with great effort all weekend long. So thank you. All righty. That's the conclusion of the meeting. No meeting adjourned.